Hey everyone, welcome back to Does House, and today we're making a lemon tart. So there's two stages. We need to make the crust and then we need to make the filling. So we're going to start with the crust. You need 2 cups flour, half a cup unsalted butter, and then a pinch of salt, or you can just use salted butter. 2 teaspoons icing sugar, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon vanilla, and 1 teaspoon of cold water. So the first thing we're going to do is, in our food processor, put in our 2 cups of flour. To that, we're going to add the icing sugar. And now we're going to put in the butter that are cut into cubes. But your food processor will do most of the work. And put the cover on. And now we're going to pulse. What you want is the butter to come to the consistency of oatmeal. You don't want to take it all the way there because you're still going to pulse it further. Okay, I'd say that's good because we're still going to be adding other ingredients. So now to this, we're going to add, I'll let you see the consistency. See, there's still some little chunks of butter. So now the 1 egg beaten with the vanilla is going to go in. And the 1 tablespoon of ice cold water. I've got ice in the water. Now we'll put the cover back on. And now we're going to pulse it again until it just starts to come together. Once you start seeing large chunks forming on the outside of your bowl, okay, we're going to stop and we're going to check it. So if you can pull this out, and if it holds together, it's done. That's done. You don't want to go too far because you want to try to keep some chunks of butter. So this now we're going to put in plastic wrap, and it will go sit in the fridge and chill for about 10 or 15 minutes, and we're going to move on to the next step. All right, we're back. So it's been about 12 minutes that it's been in the fridge. It's still a bit soft, which is fine. So if you zoom in, you can see there's actually the little pieces of butter, which is what you want, because as it's baking, it's the moisture evaporating from your chunks of butter that creates lift, and that makes a flaky crust. So we're just going to start rolling this. I put some flour down. I floured my rolling pin, and you just want to start in the middle and then just keep turning it. Incidentally, my oven's preheating to 350. I need some more flour. And we're going to blind bake this for about 10 minutes until it just starts to get a bit of color, at which point it's going to come out because we're then going to bake it with the filling. So what I forgot to do earlier, well, not forgot, because this is the original recipe. So if you want a plain pie, this is the way to go. But I have a really good recipe for shortbread with rosemary. So I wanted, and I think rosemary and lemon goes together really well. So I wanted to add some fresh rosemary to the crust. And I would have done it in the food processor, but I forgot. So we're just going to roll it in and see how this goes. I'm gonna put a little more flour on my pins so it doesn't stick to the rosemary. Oh, there we go, that's fine, that works. So you just want to get this big enough for your pie dish. Let's see what we're at. I think we're fine. So how I get it in here, you can either roll it over this, but I just fold it in quarters. And then put the middle in the middle of your pie plate and just unfold it. There we go. So because this is a tart, we don't need a lot around the edges. You're going to trim off the excess. I'm going to ask my assistant here because this is his tart shell. Do you leave extra or do you cut it right to the thing? Okay. So I'm just going to get myself a sharp knife. Just slide it in along your dish. My handles are here, so you're going to have to cut over. And just go all the way around. Over my handle. There we go. That's it. So then we're just going to dock this. If you have pie weights, you can use pie weights, but docking with a fork, you're just putting holes just on the bottom in order to stop a big rise from happening. All right, so that's done. This is going to go in the oven, 350, 10 minutes, or until you start to see a hint of color, and then we're going to pull it out. And now we're going to head on over to the stovetop and make the lemon custard. So I just pulled the crust out of the oven. It was exactly 10 minutes. Here you can see it's got barely any color. It's shrunk a little bit away from the top, which is fine. And incidentally, I also had some extra dough, so we decided to make some cookies with the rest of the dough. I just sprinkled some sugar on top so they're a bit sweeter, and we can serve a cookie with each slice of pie. So now we're going to move over to doing the lemon custard. So on your cooktop, get a pot, a whisk, 6 eggs, 1.5 cups sugar. You can adjust the sugar according to the sweetness that you like. So oftentimes I'll just use a cup of sugar, but yeah, so between a cup and a cup and a half, you need 1/2 cup of unsalted butter and the rind and juice, fresh, of 4 lemons. All right, so here we go. First thing into the pot is the eggs. They're whole eggs, and I use large size eggs. We're just going to beat them up. This is a process where you're going to have to commit 15-20 minutes because you're going to need to be stirring the entire process. So there's the eggs. The stovetop is not on yet. So this is our cool pot. Eggs and butter are in. Now we're going to put the cooktop on medium low. My oven goes up to a 9. It's set on a 4. And now you're just going to keep whisking this until the butter has melted. Here we go. The butter's all been melted into the lemon. And that really didn't take long. It took maybe 3-4 minutes. Incidentally, quick note, if you like a thicker crust, you can roll it a bit thicker. You won't have as much leftover dough for the cookies, but use your own discretion on that, how you like a pie crust. My kids, oddly enough, don't like a thick pie crust, especially around the edges, which I think is the best part, but so to each their own. Okay, so we've got this melted. Now we're going to pour in all of the sugar. So you're going to keep whisking until this melts. And the idea here is not to get this to the stage where it's quite thick, because it's going to also be cooking in the oven. So you want to get this to a stage where it's just starting to give you some resistance against the whisk, or it's just starting to coat the side of your pot. But remember, we haven't added the lemon yet, so this is not the stage where you're looking for the thickness yet. And another trick, by the way, if you are trying to restrict your sugar intake, you could substitute some artificial sweetener like stevia or some other brand. I wouldn't do the whole substitution with a sweetener. Maximum, I'd say, is half. But you could reduce the calories in that way. So there we go. In go the juice and rind of 4 lemons. And now we're just going to keep heating this until it gets to the right consistency. All right, we're at a good consistency now. It's just starting to thicken. So from here, we're going to pour it into the pie crust. And then it's going to go into the 350-degree preheated oven on the middle rack for about 20 minutes. You do not want to see bubbles forming on it in the oven, because that means it's cooking, like it's boiling, right? So you want to pull it out before that happens. It might have a jiggle, which is fine. It's going to set as it cools. All right, so once I pull it out, we'll come on back and we'll have a look at the finished product. All right, just a quick check-in. I'm taking it out of the oven now. I'm just gonna show you how much jiggle there actually is. So see, like that is fine. Don't worry about it. It will set once you take it out and then eventually put it in the fridge. All right, we'll check back when it's all set and we're done. It's set beautifully. Obviously, you can serve this in wedges with a dollop of whipped cream, or we're gonna serve it with those cookies we made with the extra dough and some candied lemon. You could also turn this into a lemon meringue pie by baking a meringue on top. But give this recipe a try. It's always a hit. It's fairly easy to do. It's simple. You can customize the crust to how you like, and you can also customize the sugar content. Bon appetit, guten appetit, until I see you next time.